like a little sunshine. Got sand on your feet and a big bass line. Moving slow cause we've got time. Your sparkles out, party at mine. Check out the view, shades low. Started at 2, now we're good to go. Come to my party, all of your friends are here, and we're all smiling ear to ear. Come disappear.
Let the loving sound surround you. Let the loving sound surround you. Let the loving sound surround you.
Stars are out and drinks flow. The girls play hard and the boys all know. Cocktail twist in a silver sun. You can text me later, room 501. Killer whips and a kick drum. Waste it away on seasoned sun. Midnight approaching, all of your friends are here, and we're all smiling ear to ear. Come disappear. Let the loving sound surround you. 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 100 lives, a million ways. Joy-filled eyes, with a lost and found. 100 lives, a better fate. Hearts take flight, with our heels to ground. We move in sound.
Twelve rounds, ding ding. Sick and tired of the whole damn thing, yeah. Stick a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling now. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. Be lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, 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 no. Got the belt like a king. Heavyweight champion of the whole damn thing, yo. Full of gas, full of spin. Jekyll and Hyde, you're the evil twin. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, you're never gonna. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. Be lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, 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 no. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. Be lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No,
Keep myself in the dark, shadows watching over me, over me. You flicked the switch, made a spark. From then on I wore my heart upon my sleeve. With you I bear all the scars. I was left with paper skin, you let me in. A different home, broken start. Baby, where do I begin? I begin. Rising up, we touch the sky. Won't be promising that I won't ever let you fall. We could build unlimited stories high if we played a game, just you and I. Whoa, like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, when it all comes crashing to the ground, we can start again and work it out. Like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, you found me after the fire, like a diamond in the rough. We're strong enough, raising the beds, pushing higher, risking everything for us. It's all for us. Rising up, we touch the sky. Won't be promising that I won't ever let you fall. We could build unlimited stories high if we played a game, just you and I. Whoa, like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, when it all comes crashing to the ground, we can start again and work it out. Like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, keep rising up just to fall down. 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 Down. We could build unlimited stories high if we played a game, just you and I. Whoa, like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, when it all comes crashing to the ground, we can start again and work it out. Like a house of cards, house of cards.
Hello once again and welcome to EPT Retro, where we take a look at the early seasons of the European Poker Tour with added reminiscy vision. Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan, joined as ever by Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies, James. I am ready to look deep into a big box of treasure.
Well, there is a box of treasure because we are in the Caribbean for an adventure. We're in the Bahamas for PCA 2009. Last week we kicked off that festival with the World Cup of Poker, with the first ever PCA High Roller, and now it's all about the main event. We started, remember, at the beginning of season 1 of the EPT in 2004. Fast forward a few years, we're in January 2009. We're already starting to see new faces emerge, new heroes emerge, and I guess to a certain extent an evolution in the style of the way No Limit Hold'em is played. PCA 2009, Joe, I don't know if you were in the Bahamas for that particular event, but it was a big one.
I think I was. No, wait, it was probably 2010. It would have been after my first year of the big game. I can't remember if that was my first year in the Bahamas or not. It was close. I honestly don't remember.
I know you were definitely there in 2010, but in 2009, and bear in mind, we're still in the boom era. We still have American qualifiers. We're looking at 1,347 players in a $10,000 buy-in event. Huge field in the PCA main event that year. This played, by the way, from the 5th to the 10th of January 2009. And from that starting field of more than 1,300, nearly 200 would get paid, with 199 players making the money and sharing in the prize pool of, wait for it, $12.7 million. A huge chunk up top, $3 million to the winner. But remember, if you do the euro to dollar conversion, Glenn Shawnee, for taking down the season 4 grand final in Monte Carlo, got more than $3 million. But even so, you're not going to be complaining to get an even $3 million for winning the PCA.
No, I don't think so. And obviously those figures and numbers we don't see very often these days. And we also don't see Glenn Chorney very often these days. And I just wonder if maybe the guy or girl who wins these $3 million maybe pulls the same sort of disappearing act.
An interesting theory, Joe. We'll see what happens as we take our journey into this 10K main event from the Bahamas in 2009. When we pick up the action, we are well into the money because only 4 tables remain. It's the final 32 players. And bear in mind that we're going to kick off our coverage today, but we won't conclude it until tomorrow. So we're not going to play down to the final table. We're not going to play down to a winner until tomorrow. Plenty of action from the PCA main event to come here on EPT Retro. So this is our first feature table with blinds at 8.16 with a 1,500 ante. And you can already see, Joe, we've got Vicky Corrin in the final 32 in our first feature table.
I did not realize what a joy it was going to be to see Vicky in this old footage until it actually happened. Looking forward to today.
So this is Jason Pastor from the USA, and that's
There's
a raise.
There's only one pastor in my book. I'm sorry, James. There's only one pastor in my book, and that's Juan Manuel.
Well, Pastor is raised to 41,000 with pocket 10s.
This guy's familiar.
That's Hafa Khan, who was the runner-up in last year's PCA main, finished second to Elke.
That's Hafiz Khan to you.
Vicky's going to re-raise, make it 208,000 total.
So there are some things about this that obviously in a vacuum look a little weird, but maybe some history between Vicky and Pastor. We know that based in sort of today's style, you wouldn't necessarily 3-bet these 6s.
Go on then.
Vicky's going to make the call.
What have I got to beat?
You got 10s.
No, that's good at the moment.
All right, Vicky is the all-in player. She's covered. She has pocket 6s.
Vicky
Jason has pocket 10s.
is not the at-risk player. It's Pastor who's at risk, but has the dominating hand, and Vicky needs to see a
4 of
6.
diamonds, ace of spades, jack of spades. Hold on 1 second. We actually think Jason's the at-risk player. That's what they just told me in the
No,
100, 200.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I apologize. Jason is the at-risk player.
Thank
think
you, Neil
I'm at risk?
Johnson.
All my chips are in. I've got 2 6s. It's ace, jack, 4.
Vicky's behind. She's correct. She's behind.
Johnson.
However, if the hand finishes,
I might get 2,000 back.
she will have chips remaining.
Marvelous.
Jason is the at-risk player with the 10s. Turn card, please.
You can put your purse down.
Turn is the queen of spades.
Royal flush one time.
Vicky's going to need to find one
All
of the
right,
remaining
now I'm
6s
rooting
in the
against
deck.
you.
Let's see the river. River's a 5.
Don't ever call for cards when you are ahead.
Don't make me stay here and play with 4,000 in chips. Oh my.
It's really not up to him.
Just push your lip loose. Yeah, he needs to pull a yellow on that. Break that stack. It's going to be very
Please keep going.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I thought I was just a little lower than you.
371.5.
God, it's like half running over a dog.
Jason's all-in was for 371,500.
I'm going to stay standing up to play my small blind just to make it fun.
Okay, at least this never happens in online poker.
It's, I mean, frankly, the tournament is as good as mine.
did leave Vicky with more than 2,000. She has 24,000 remaining.
24,000. That's no, that's bad. That's really bad. There's 36,000 in the pot just with blinds and antes.
Yeah, and I think she mentioned she's in the small blind here, Joe, and I think she'll probably be all in again as we see David Baker opening with Jack 10 off. A raise to 42,500.
The fact that I don't think she's sat back down yet. Okay, it's still, the purse is on the chair. It's looking like it's going to go in.
All in with Queen 9, and we can see she's actually ahead.
Don't worry. I'm about to
Scratch that. Ace-6 suited for Jason Pastor.
Over to Jason in the big blind. 42,500 is a total bet.
Oh, he folds.
Wowee.
What have you got there? I'm actually in front. I'm in front.
David has the jack of spades and the 10 of clubs. Vicky has the queen of spades and the 9 of clubs. Let's see the flop, please.
We've all been here before.
Flop comes 10, 3, 8.
Oh, Vicky out-flopped as Baker pairs his 10.
I'm a generous person.
David has taken the lead with a pair of 10s. Vicky's picked up a gut shot straight draw to a jack. Let's see the turn card, please. Turn card's the king of hearts. Vicky's looking for a jack or a queen. Let's see the river card.
Jack or a queen needed. It's the jack.
Vicky's made a straight on the river.
Don't call it a comeback.
What am I going to do with the 3 million? That's the question. What am I going to spend it on when I
It's so hard to be funny when you are losing at poker. Now, granted, she just did have a small double up there, but in that spot when you know you're still a huge dog to be able to joke around, it says a lot about what a talent she is.
Vicky still relatively short, 7-5 offsuit.
All right, Andy's going to pass. It's over to Vicky now.
Let's make it 65,500.
I believe she is all in.
Do you know that's exactly what I've got?
Baker folded ace-6 before for fewer chips.
It was Pastor who folded the ace-6.
Sorry, Pastor.
Vicky's raised all in to 65.5.
500. 65,500, that's it.
That looks like a fold.
65,500.
I'm all in for, it's like 300.
Uh-oh.
Re-raised to all
Justin Rolo all in with ace-10 of clubs.
And we know a 5's been folded.
I'm all in.
And David Baker, who has a sizable stack, reshoves.
Yeah, I'm going to treble
Is
up.
now going to pass. David chose 2 ladies.
Neither of you
Justin
have a
has ace-10
chance in
clubs.
hell. Give me the
Vicky
money
has
now.
7-5 offsuit.
I hope that to come true,
I mean,
Victoria.
seriously, their hands have no chance here.
David has both players covered, and he is in the lead with his pocket queens.
Could see a double KO if queens hold.
Flop is deuce, king, 5.
Well, there's a
Deuce of
5
clubs,
for Vicky, a little bit of hope.
5 of diamonds.
1 club for Rolo.
The 5 was the tough one. There was already a 5 folded. There's a ton of 7s
I'll
in there.
take jack of clubs there, I'm sure.
And Justin does have the backdoor flush draw to the clubs as well.
You're gonna get it.
Let's see the turn card. Turn is the deuce of spades. Justin's looking for an ace now here. Vicky needs a 5. Justin needs an ace for either of them to double through. David's still in the lead with his queens. Let's see the river.
The river card
It's a
is
7.
too little too
It
late.
would be a 7.
2 pair no good against a better 2 pair, and Vicky Corrin is eliminated. Justin Rollo also out. Both players cashing for $40,000. And Joe, I didn't get to work on these TV shows, but I do remember from the live stream, and bear in mind, it's the first time I've seen this since 2009. That move that Vicky made with the 6s, which I guess did most of the damage, I remember so much criticism of that at the time. People feeling it was so punty.
I think they were right. Like I said, we saw one hand in a vacuum, right? There could have been all kinds of history between them. There could have been all kinds of loose opens from Pastor. But yeah, just based on what we saw there, not exactly a spot you typically want to 3-bet call it off. Hey, Dan Highmiller.
Yep, blinds go to 10-20. Dan Heimiller takes Vicky's seat at the feature table and raises to 55,000 with 9-7 off.
I don't know if you guys got much Dan Highmiller in Europe, but this dude is hilarious.
will pass. Back to the blinds now, Benny and David.
I think there's still an archive version of his old website, which was just a complete brain dump of information. But I could never tell whether it was intentionally funny or not.
So David Baker defends his big blind with pocket tens, and these two will go heads up to the flop.
All right, so David and Dan are going to go heads up to the flop. Let's see it, please.
Miller with a reputation for being one of the tighter players on tour. Does flop up and down.
Yeah, but Baker with the diamond draw to go with his pair. 85% equity here. Miller set to continue. 60,000 into 134,000.
And he is blocked just a tiny bit. I mean, the good news is at least the 2 tens that remain won't make a flush for Baker.
David's going to make the call of 60,000. All right, so for
With Baker calling, this hand goes to the turn. That turn card, the King of Hearts. Baker now nearly a 9-1 favorite.
He's going to check over to Dan.
130,000.
Wow. Not slowing down.
Dan says 130,000. David's going to pass
And gets a fold from the better hand.
That's what happens when you got a tight reputation.
We've got outer table action here. We have a three-way all-in. Brian Paris, Peter Thielen at risk. Dustin Dirksen has them both covered.
5 or 7.
And that is going to be a near triple up for Peter Thielen, and it's the elimination of Brian Paris in 27th place. Look at that, Joe. 2009, and now we've got outer table hands.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
So down to 26 in the PCA 2009 main event. Action at the feature table on Dan Heimler with pocket threes.
I love how I can hear Dan breathing.
Dan's going to raise to 70,000.
His breathing is both loud and distinct.
That'll get folded around Benny on the cutoff.
It really is.
Ace, queen offsuit. This is Benny Chen from Canada.
Benny's going to make the call of 70,000. Back around to Andy.
Look, Heimler's got everybody running scared. Just a flat with ace queen.
He's going to pass. So for 70,000 apiece, Dan and Benny are going to go heads up to this flop.
Yep, no 3-bet from Chen, and we have a queen 8-4 flop. Well, Heimler's going to have a tough job pushing his opponent off this one. In fact, he does not continue. Checks the action to Chen.
They're both going to check.
Chen checks it back. All right, trying to set a mini trap here for Heimler.
9 of spades, queen 9-8-4, 2 hearts on board. Dan's first.
Heimler might think it's safe now that the flop got checked back. Might go for the delayed continuation bet.
It's never safe. $95,000. Called
Time to give it up.
by Chen. And the river card is the 4 of diamonds pairing the board.
Heimler improves the 2 pair.
He checks.
Chen sizing up a value bet. 374,000 out there. Seems reasonable if you want to target a 9. feel like this is optimistic for threes.
Is this not a trivial fold?
It is a trivial fold, and I think you have a hard time doing anything but calling or folding after this sort of commiserating. He looks like a dad trying to figure out how he's going to pay his kids' tuition. Not another expulsion. If he calls here, I don't know how he ever had a reputation for being tight. Holy, there it is.
Let's see, please, gentlemen. Benny shows ace queen for queens and fours with an ace. Dan's going to pass.
Heimel and
Benny's
Mux.
going to take the pot.
Interesting hero call.
Look, I don't know. I guess there's a, you can convince yourself that you gave your opponent good cause to bet ace king. That's what it always is, right? It's always like, oh, I'm beating ace king. Beating ace jack, beating ace 10. There's some hands he's beating, I guess. The silence is deafening.
Ace is under the gun.
I recognize the carpet as we went to that wide shot. I think we're finally in the Imperial Ballroom, a home that the PCA would continue to occupy for the years moving forward.
Dun, 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 dun. I won't finish.
Paul's going to make a raise, 55,000.
Okay, so this is Paul Greem, who has raised with ace queen.
He's going to get it folded
The
around
Greem
the
raises to the top, 55,000.
Round to Andy Fitzpatrick, who has jack 10 in the small blind.
You expect me to believe this isn't Dutch Boyd?
Yes, because it's Andy Fitzpatrick.
I don't know.
Andy announces call of the 55. Dan's going to go ahead and pass his big blind.
Heimela folds the big blind, and we are going heads up to the flop. And that flop is ace, jack, 8, so we got top pair versus second pair.
Andy checks.
What's this guy's name? Chino Greem?
Paul.
Paul's going to bet 70,000.
So I'm not sure what everyone's stack sizes are. I don't know. I guess calling with a pair
All right, Andy's gonna make
seems
the call,
reasonable
70,000.
if you have the chips to do so.
All right, let's see that turn card, please.
Well, Fitzpatrick calls one street. We get the Queen of Clubs on the turn, which gives Greem 2 pair. Fitzpatrick now with a straight draw. I guess had the gut shot before. Now he's double gutted.
It's an improvement for ace queen, obviously, and you're still going to like your hand a fair amount, but, king 10 just got there, 9-10 just got there.
So Fitzpatrick decided to lead the turn, and now Greem responds by moving all in.
It's one way to stop the river card from coming.
Andy's going to pass and Paul's going to win the pot.
Fitzpatrick forced to fold.
I'm not sure how I feel about the all-in there, because I feel like your opponent is going to fold, or they're going to just have been getting kind of weird with a straight on the turn, and then you're completely boned.
So blinds still 10,000, 20,000 with a 2K ante. Ace 8 for Benny Chen.
Raise to 50,000 from Benny under the gun.
Makes it 50K. Round to Jason Pasta. King, Queen suited. Not just any
James,
suits.
can you do me a favor? What is the name of the food that you boil and put tomato sauce on?
Pasta.
And what's this guy's name? Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
Jason's gonna make the call.
Anyway, he has got King Queen of Strawberries, which is a very pretty hand. Makes the call in the small blind, and then we have Paul Green in the big blind with 5-4 of clubs.
Let's call it King Queen of Tomatoes since he's pasta.
Call as well. All right, three ways. Benny's gonna go against the blinds here, 50,000 apiece. Let's see the flop.
It's a nice representation of hands here. Bad ace, suited connectors, paint cards, and tiny suited connectors. And everyone has something to be happy about, except for Chet. Not Chet, but everyone else.
No one plays it faster than Jason Pasta, the Master Blaster.
What is happening?
He's gonna bet 85.
Top pair, flush draw. Hello. Calls Chen's bet. I love it in a three-way pot where the guy with 8% equity is the one doing the betting.
So Jason and Benny are now going to go heads up to the turn for 85,000 apiece.
Heads up to the turn,
See that turn card.
which is the 9 of diamonds.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Is this where you flop top pair and a flush draw and they just go runner straight, like 0 equity to a completely indiscernible hand?
A little over 7.
Is it always coming 7?
Action goes check, check. River for free. No 7, but it is an 8 for Chen.
Jason checks.
And he takes the free showdown value, sees that he's losing to top pair, and will muck.
Benny's going to pass. And Jason's going to take this pot.
I just can't believe. Well, it's not that hard to believe, but it's just pretty sick to think about these guys are not very far away from a $3 million first place prize.
Yeah, we just heard Neil say there, 26 players remain right now, so almost at the final 3 tables.
It's so sick. I mean, look at the amount of effort that had to go in to the PSPC to make a $5 million first place prize. And of course, that's significantly bigger than $3 million, but this was just like
Yeah.
a tournament.
Well, bear in mind the field is going to continue to grow until we get to 2012. So Hafa Khan, last year's runner-up, wearing his, and I'm going to rewind in time to 2009 and call them the San Diego Chargers baseball cap. I'm acutely aware they have since moved to Los Angeles.
A San Diego Chargers game, James, to this day is the only NFL game I've ever attended.
Well, now they've moved to LA, and that's the only team you've watched live. They must be your team, right?
I guess.
Look, as a Niners fan, please take the Chargers over the Rams.
Which one was the first team to get here?
The Rams.
35,000 more to Benny in the big blind.
You know what? I haven't decided yet. I'm going to see who makes a better offer. Look, Joe, we know you have a lot of choices as the football team. Here's what we as the Chargers are prepared to do.
That was a raise and take it for last year's runner-up.
I might just end up no, I can't do it. I was going to say I might adopt the Vegas team if I was going to pick one, but
the Raiders? Oh, come on. Come on.
Trying to get the free
drinks. Here? Oh, yeah, we have a line around
Yeah.
the clock. Here.
Yeah, and tell them they have to cheer. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to cheer.
Oh, if I give them free drinks, they'll cheer.
It's going to fold over to Dan.
Action
Dan
Dan.
Heimler be, yeah, shouldn't he be out somewhere busting myths and not playing in this poker tournament?
He's going to raise.
Raises with ace-4 to 55K.
He did a nice little spiel about a $3 banana, too.
The water is more ridiculous since it's
Oh, this is incredible. They're talking about how much things cost.
And shocking that it would be Dan Heimiller complaining about them.
Incredible. You know my one Dan Heimiller story, right?
Remind me.
I had never had a conversation with the guy. He came up to me. I was podcasting at Bay 101. He came up to me and told us about a deal on muscle milk at the gym nearby. And he said he had bought the limit, and he asked us if we would go buy some on his behalf. To buy cases of protein drinks because they were a good deal.
All clubs on the flop.
I never figured out if it was a bid or not. If it's a bid, it's incredible. And if it's not, it's also incredible.
Benny's gonna bet 67,000.
Well, Chen has the better hand and the better draw. Heimiller does have the wheel draw, I guess, and he's going to check raise here to 140,000.
Again, coming from Heimiller, maybe take it a little more seriously, given the reputation. It's not a terrible hand to target. I mean, obviously, he doesn't know he's raising 2 6s. I'll just say it's not terrible timing. In general, I don't really hate like check raise bluffing with gut shots on boards that are really not supposed to have hit the button.
Benny's gonna pass and Dan wins the pot.
It works. Heimiller takes it down.
It's Heimiller time.
How deep will Dan go? 26 players remaining. And these are the big stacks right now. It's Kevin Saul who has the chip lead with 2.3 million. In third place is a player we haven't seen before on the EPT, a German pro called Benny Spindler. Dan Heimiller, or Daniel Heimiller to call him by his full name, is in the top 5. Plenty of American players leading the field. Among the other big stacks, David Baker and Dustin Dirksen.
What European poker tour?
And here is Alex Gomez from Brazil, all in with kings. Actually, it's Antonio Boetti who's the at-risk player with 9s. Does pick up a straight draw, but doesn't get there on the river. So that will be Boetti eliminated in 26th place, cashing out for $40,000.
But I didn't even get to make my Boetti sweaty joke.
Team Pro!
Yeah, he was a big deal for a while.
Should go fairly quickly. I'm setting the over-under at midnight, and I'm betting the under.
I'm betting. Oh yeah, it's gonna be 9:30. I'm putting 9:30.
9:30?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there's an hour dinner break for the.
Oh, we got a dinner break?
We do have a dinner break. Well, because we have to give the TV crew a dinner break, so everybody gets one.
Don't blame us, Neil.
In 90 minutes?
60 minutes.
Oh, we're not union. I mean,
fold it around to David. It's a Bahamian union. They only get 60. No, I don't.
I love that. Whenever there is any potential pushback, Joe, from the players about the fact that a dinner break's been put into the schedule, the staff are always like, hey, it's the TV people's fault. They're the ones who want the break. Don't take out on us. Okay.
It's easier to blame somebody you can't see, right?
Exactly. Baker is open with ace-3. Hafakana's called with 7s. And this is ace-king for Jason Pasta, who's got... Well, the blues are 5K, right? That's a decent stack.
Jason Pasta is going to try to win every penne.
Oh my God.
All right, everyone.
Oh my God.
Oh, God, it took me all week to write that.
Jason's going to re-raise 220,000 total. Oh, no, wait.
It is a re-raise from the big blind. 195,000.
Yeah, it's 195,000 total.
A fold from the original raiser. Now, if Khan feels he's being squeezed here,
Remember, Khan is old school, right? And an old school player might sometimes just try to stick it in your ear here with 2 sevens. I'm with you, James.
well, let's not forget the heads up against Elke. We see him fold here. He got it in with 9-3 offsuit, remember?
Yeah, he is a little bit of a, that word is not cool to say in your part of the world. He's a little clicky.
Everybody
I would
wants
just
make
like
a
to
final
know
table,
the
so they'll-
From here we go 220,
motivation
24, then 350,
behind that
30, then
beard.
420, 40.
One thing that might happen is one.
I don't want to see it anymore, and I don't want to know anything about it.
Then it speeds it up. Then the shorter stacks will be shorter.
You can get that one guy who's got like 15% of the chips in play or 20% of the chips in play.
Where one or two people they accumulate all the chips, then it's faster.
Welcome to MTT Structures with Neil Johnson and Dan Heimel. Meanwhile, there's a poker game being played.
Khan and Pastor both have odd facial hair. It's like, I don't want to have a beard, but my chin gets cold. Hold on, this dude too.
You're in no position to lecture people about facial fuzz.
Ah!
A7 versus King Jack. Anyone else going to come along for the ride?
Raise over to Paul in the big blind.
Do you have a lot of white chips over there? I can't. Are those all yellows?
Those are yellows.
Yeah.
I have no
Okay.
Reem looks like he has plenty of chips, wants to see how much he could potentially win if he enters this pot.
What's he going to do here with Dolly Parton? He's going to let it go, and we're going to go heads up to the flop. Khan, the aggressor here. Fitzpatrick, the player in position.
All right, let's see, please.
And it is an ace, queen, jack flop.
Queen of clubs.
Not really sure that repositioning did much.
All right, Andy's going to check behind him. Let's see the turn card, please.
Turn card is the 3 of diamonds. That gives Khan the flush draw to go with top pair.
Piece is going to check.
Got you tilted saying, Lamau, Stapes, you got the same beard, bro. Not true. I've had terrible facial hair over the year, but I don't have that. How dare you?
Piece is going to bet 65,000.
Call.
Wow. Fitzpatrick didn't even think about it. Snap calls the 65K with third pair?
7 for aces with a queen jack 7.
Yes, but sometimes
Pass, the piece is going to take the pot.
a jack is top pair, so you can see.
Yeah, when there isn't an ace and a queen on the board, Joe.
Then feel a little better.
This one goes there too. And this one
Look, he had a read and he stuck to it, James, and I think he deserves a little credit for that because he's certainly not going to get any chips.
I think we're down to 25 guys now.
Ooh, 25?
Well, we saw Antonio Boetti bust in 26, so we can confirm that 25 remain as we sweat with last year's PCA main event runner-up. We're going to play this hand from Hafa Khan's perspective. Let's see what he has. Ace 10.
Ace 10, I will allow it.
He's going to raise to 55,000.
Raises to 55,000. Fitzpatrick calls.
Jason on the button now.
Just a quick call like that, I think we can already start putting Fitzpatrick on hands like Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10. Didn't even think about re-raising. Lots of Broadway cards, connecting, some suited.
Now, we know that Green seriously considered calling out of the big blind with 9-5. Here he's in the small blind.
55 total. 55 total. 45 more to you.
Looks like he might be considering a 3-bet. I'm going to say we should fold to a 3-bet. Now, he does have a little bit of incentive.
Make the call of the small blind.
Just a call, okay.
Chip raise over to the Benny in the big blind. He's going to pass.
Okay, so just the two callers, three-way to the flop.
With Paul, Hafiz, and Andy.
So we are in position.
In position with the betting lead. No, Fitzpatrick has position. It's a queen, jack, 7, all club flop. Ooh, I don't like this.
I don't love it either, but, you know, if we think about the hands that Fitzpatrick was likely to have.
He'll check as well. Andy now. Did Andy check? Check. All right, it's going to be checked around. Let's see the turn
Checks
card,
around.
please.
I don't know. I think you can take one stab at it there and
clubs,
see if
Queen, Jack,
everybody
7,
else
5,
missed,
all
but
clubs on board.
I think
Balls
checking's
first.
fine too, as long as you're not going to get super weird at this point and try to rep something.
I mean, again, I'm not an accomplished poker player, but I'm folding every day of the week here. I have a gut shot straight draw on a 4 flush board.
Yeah, this is just a fold.
Hafiz is going to pass over to Andy.
Yeah, he folds, and now we see all the cards, and we can see that Green has actually got a 4-high flush. Fitzpatrick flopped top 2.
And remember my exact first hand I put this guy on?
65 total.
Queen Jack.
All in?
All in.
Oh boy, this is another situation. It's one of the few better hands you can get to fold.
Wow.
Moving all in there.
And when Fitzpatrick makes that all-in move, is that an attempt to get a small flush to fold, or is he value betting what he thinks is the best hand?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth Bennett Martin is all in and at risk, called by Albert Mignolin.
One time, King.
King 8 against Ace Queen.
Oh, dead.
Wow.
I got the 8 too.
The 8 is not enough, and that is going to see Elizabeth depart in 25th place, and that's going to take us down to the final 3 tables, the final 24 players. She cashes out for $40,000. Time to break a table.
I feel like there's always an Elizabeth Bennett Martin every year, just like a sassy Canadian mom.
Well, it's interesting you say that because we do see her in a later PCA in more recent years. She returns and has another deep run in the PCA main event. So right now, it is Kevin Saul who is the chip leader with 24 players remaining. So what's clear here is we saw us get down from 4 tables to 3 there. Over the course of the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to play down from 24 to 16. And then when we continue our coverage of the PCA main event tomorrow, that's when we're going to get down from 16 to 8 and then from 8 to a winner. And only then will we award that trophy and give someone the first prize of $3 million. It's so fun to remember just how big the PCA was becoming at this point, Joe. And by 2009, by 2010, was very much cementing itself as one of the key events in the poker calendar. People looked and said, okay, we've got the EPT Grand Final Monte Carlo, the World Series main event, the World Series of Poker Europe, and the PCA. Those were like the big 4 back then.
Yeah, this was obviously, you know, especially for that time of year, right? For that time of year, it was just the marquee event, the big deal. And still, a lot of things changed about the PCA, I guess is what I'm trying to say, over the years. But one thing that never really did change is sort of the attitudes of the people. There's just like a little bit more fun. You could see people are disappointed to go broke, but everyone is is in a much better mood being in the Bahamas in January.
Yeah. And this is a festival that's always had lots of side events, lots of cash games, as well as all the other activities at the resort that people took part in. And that's something which I think we start to see being carried into the rest of the EPT by this point in time, that it's not just about arriving for the main event, it's all of the other games being spread as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, James, in the PCA, it's not, I mean, look, one of my favorite things, this was the era of the drunken go. Drunken go was a big deal at the PCA. You could just get a game. You could just get a sit and go going like at will. Hey, let's get a sit and go, sit and go, sit and go.
Yeah.
And that was like a big activity for everybody at these events.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're bored of hearing us say this over the last 6 or 7 weeks that we've been hosting these EPT Retro streams. But again, if you're relatively new to the game, if you've only kind of discovered poker in the last 5 or 6 years, it's really hard to understand just how much more money there was floating around, not just from the players, but from the whole industry, from the sponsorship deals. It just was a very rich and lucrative time and a very different atmosphere and a very different attitude towards playing MTTs, which is why, as we've seen so many times, Joe, people weren't really studying the pay jumps.
No, they were just sort of studying what tournaments were starting next. And, you know, everyone was going to satellite into the next event anyway. It was really, really different. And also, if you're the kind of player that did pay attention to those things, there was a lot of money to be made.
Absolutely. Well, let's continue our coverage then of the PCA 2009 main event. We are down to 24. Time to play down to the final 16, the final 2 tables. And let's see who's at our new feature table with the blinds at 1020 with a 2K ante. We've got ace 8 of diamonds here for Cero Zuccarello.
You don't have to, but also you can.
60K.
He's going to raise to 60,000.
Maybe get a little respect for raising early.
Pass over to Alex now. He'll pass as well. Benny's up next.
Oh man, in any situation where Benny Spindler's got the same hand as somebody else, my money's on Benny.
I had 634.
Oh, sorry.
So
I thought he was making it 500 more. I thought he just 10x'd it. Oh, Benny folds the ace-8.
So here we have Kevin Saul with Queen Jack. And we know that Kevin is the current chip leader.
Kevin Saul, a name that used to strike fear into the hearts of poker players.
Andy in the big blind. It's 40,000 chip raised to Andy.
Hey, we've still got Andy Fitzpatrick on the main stage. And he's going to defend his big blind with 9 deuce offsuit.
Can't see any of your chips.
I started with 509.
509, thank you.
All right, so 60,000 apiece. These two are going to go heads up to the flop. Let's see, please.
What a defend here with the 9 deuce.
What a flop for the 9 deuce.
Diamonds, 9 of spades.
I'm so sorry, Zuccarello.
Sarah's going to bet 80.
Well, the good news is that Zuccarello hasn't really been zucked out on all that much here. If it comes running diamonds and one of them is the 9 or the deuce of diamonds, then maybe we can see some real tragedy here. But Fitzpatrick, yeah, I was going to say, is probably going to go a little too nuts here.
He's going to raise 100,000 more.
It's just one of those situations where you convince yourself in the big blind that, like, sometimes you're going to be up against ace-jack and ace-queen and ace-king, and a 9 might be good. And then you flop 2 pair, and now you try to convince yourself you're up against jacks or queens or kings or aces.
Oh, no!
What?
I call.
Andy says call.
Zuccarello shoves, Fitzpatrick calls all in. What is happening here?
This was so unnecessary.
An unnecessary big blind defend, a miracle flop,
No sweat, huh?
a spewy shove.
Turn card is the 8 of spades.
Oh,
9 and
God.
5 deuce. Neither player has a spade. Cero has picked up a pair of 8s. It's a 9.
It's a full house for Fitzpatrick. He gets the full double up, and the stacks were pretty even. That's most of Zuccarello's chips gone.
No, he's going to come. We just doing this first. 362,000.
Not a huge reaction from Zuccarello. I would expect at least some sort of disgust, even if it's a fairly standard spot. You still got to be like, how do you have 9 deuce there?
Okay, well now we find Zuccarello all in from the big blind. The opening raise from Kevin Saul, the call from Fitzpatrick in the small, the shove from Zuccarello, the reshove from Saul. This is a $10,000 buy-in event, right?
Do you remember, James? Do you remember Kevin Saul's screen name?
Above, below?
Yes. I wasn't going to pull you up on the zeros and digits. Above, below. Look, Fitzpatrick doing okay, at least based on what we can see, but I think in general, fold there's probably fine.
So Zuccarello at risk, and with one overcard to Kevin Saul's pocket 9s. And it's a king high flop, but there's a 9 as well. Saul with the set.
Nine's just crushing Zuccarello.
Kevin is in the lead with a set of 9s, though. Let's see the turn card, please. Turn card is the king of hearts. Cero now has 3 kings. Kevin has 9s full of kings.
9 of diamonds.
Cero's looking for a 6, a 4, or the 4th king. All right, let's see that river card.
Can't believe he has outs here, but doesn't hit, and that'll do it for Zuccarello, out in 24th place, cashing for $45,000. I still have not quite recovered from that first hand, where he pretty much punted his entire stack to Andy Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he hasn't recovered either. Probably, I mean, to this day.
And Saul was already the chip leader. I mean, he's got heaps now.
All right, hold on a second. Don't, all right. Well, if things were finally getting interesting.
The blinds are still 10,000, 20,000 with a 2K ante.
Coach Ruffy just joining us. Spoke up late. Did I miss the scrolling list of loser nerds?
I don't think the scrolling list of loser nerds has been a thing for the last season or so, so apologies. That has gone the way of all things. We've got new graphical innovations now. The good news is we still have the EPT rankings. They are still a thing.
The good news is we got Danny Zuko on the rail.
A raise to 53,000 from Saul with the King 6 suited.
Where's the rest of the greasers, Pony Boy?
Adam Geyer here with Ace Deuce.
What a Geyer.
Can you get a re-raise from Adam?
Okie dokie.
Uncle Jonesy misses the waving flag graphics. What, you mean the flags that you could barely make out what country they were meant to be representing?
Chip raise. All the way around to Joe on the button now.
Hey, it's Joe Galuzzo. Forget about it.
Gomez folds. Benny Spindler has pocket 7s in the big blind.
How much money you have behind?
Is this going to be just another hand wave all in?
880.
I mean, Spindler's doing great against these two hands, especially if he decides to put another bet in.
He's going to pass.
No.
Big. Kevin's going to pass as well.
So Gaia's re-raise gets through as we lose a player in 23rd, taking us down to 22 in the PCA 2009 main event. And yes, Kevin Saul is close to 3 million chips now, ahead of Benny Spindler, who sits in second place on the leaderboard. We also have Alex Gomez at the feature table, who's 4th in chips overall, and Adam Gaia, who's 8th on the leaderboard.
So you can see the top 10 that was dominated by Americans. Look who's creeping up to the top. People who know how to play poker.
So clearly, Gomez is open with 5-4. Action on Benny Spindler, and this is what Benny Spindler does. A little bit of aggression here as he re-races with pocket threes.
We kind of let Adam Geyer off easy with that 3-bet with ace deuce.
It worked. I'm playing results.
Yeah, exactly. Because it worked out for him.
And you'll pass the big. More background to Alex.
Ace deuce offsuit. Not a typical 3-betting candidate
100,000 chip
from
raise.
early against earlier.
Re-raise was 100,000. So 160,000 total.
Alex, go for it. You're flipping, dude. 50-50.
In the late stages of an MTT, got to take your flips.
Alex is going to re-raise.
Oh, hello.
These two
Re-raise 350,000.
goofballs.
Okay, so it's not just because Benny Spindler's at the table. We have clearly entered the era of pre-flop clicking wars.
This is a 4-bet, right?
Yep.
I think everybody realized, too, that maybe the structures were too good, that people shouldn't be able to have the kind of stacks where they could 5- and 6-bet bluff.
Benny's going to pass, and Alex is going to take the pot.
The threes are folded. Gomez takes it down.
And he takes another peek with his little victory lap, thinking he bluffed Benny Spindler, which
Alex shows 4, 5,
yes, he
suited
did.
and hearts.
Ah, shows it.
No need to show off for the cameras.
Yeah.
That's true. We already know what you have.
Blinds up, 12,000, 24,000. We still have the same lineup on the main stage, the feature table, with 3 tables remaining. Starting field of 1,347 players. 10K buy-in event, a prize pool of more than $12.6 million, 3 million up top, and ace queen here for Kevin Saul.
Kevin's going to raise to
Oh.
70,000.
Adam Gaia also with ace queen.
So he 3-bets ace deuce,
Adam's going to
and he
re-raise.
3-bets ace queen.
to 210,000. He's going to get the button over to the small blind.
Call. No.
And he'll pass. Joe's got the big.
This guy's like sinking into the seat.
He's getting a little frustrated with his hands. I don't know. Running like crap over here.
40,000 chip raise back to Kevin.
Oh no, Felipe Ramos.
Gone in 22nd place.
Come on.
Oh my word.
Re-raise,
The
all
chip leader shoves. All into call for Adam Gaia.
I don't know how you begin to try to figure out what you're supposed to do here. Other than it being player specific, right? Like maybe you know a little bit about Kevin Saul. You know he's not quite the wild man that Benny Spindler is.
Yeah.
But something tells me he is. Something tells me you can't fold ace queen. That actually this kind of is an HTC situation, even though it's for a huge amount of money. Like, I just don't know.
Call. He
There
calls.
you go.
Gaia calls.
Got ace queen against ace queen.
There we go.
Why is everybody sitting back down?
I just feel like there's a much
Adam is
stronger
the at-risk
argument for
player.
folding
Kevin
ace
has
queen in the
recovered the
present
ace of
day
hearts,
than there
the
was
queen of
then.
diamonds. Adam has the queen of clubs.
Oh, you got
and the
two
ace of
3-year-olds.
diamonds.
I did.
That's no good.
Yeah, both of Gaia's suits
20K
alive.
called even.
What's that?
Throw me 20K called even.
All right, ace queen against ace queen. Let's see the flop, please.
The flop gives us a sweat because it's all diamonds. And Gaia is now free rolling.
10 of diamonds. They both have a diamond, but Adam has the ace of diamonds. Let's see the turn card.
I just want to go on record. If I'm ever at a poker tournament,
Turn
I
is the
don't want to
three of
win this
clubs.
way.
Hold on a minute, hold on a minute.
So there will be a chop unless there is a diamond on the river.
Let's see the river card.
The river card is a spade, so this will be a chop pot. And you know what they say. Everyone loves a chop pot.
Yeah, I pulled back all mine. He pulled his.
I know you've got a lot of mileage with your grease references out of that guy, but seriously, dude, put a shirt on.
Just waiting for him to take out his switchblade comb.
Okay, guys, the rules are simple. If it's live poker, you get the song. If it's online poker, you get the meme.
It's easy. Queen 8 suited on the button. All right, seems fair.
Kevin's going to make the call from the small blind. 36,000 chip raise.
Saul will call with the ace-4. Gaia in the big blind.
Now, I think calling there is fine. I think 3-betting there is fine too against a player that you know is going to be opening a lot on the button.
This flop here for 60,000 apiece. Queen of diamonds, queen of spades.
Flop better, Benny.
Queen of diamonds. Kevin's first.
Yeah, and Saul should probably be paying off at least one bet with ace high. Spindler's not supposed to have flopped trips.
Benny's going to bet 90,000.
I think also with just one straight card and no diamonds, you can
Kevin's going
just
to raise
fold.
to 300,000. 210,000 chip raise.
And this also an option, right?
Yeah.
Spindler's going to have to fold all the hands that missed here that might have good equity or even beating ace-4, right? Your ace-5s, your ace-6. But that ain't going to happen, is it?
Benny's going to make the call.
Spindler calls with 98% equity.
I think you have to be
Let's see the
just
turn card.
absolutely done with this hand when Spindler calls and aboard that try.
Benny Spindler improves to quads and now has a complete lock on this.
Hey, James.
He'll check as well. These guys are going to go
More
heads up
like
into the river.
better fold Saul. Am I right?
10 of diamonds.
I shouldn't find that as funny as I do. You've tickled me.
It's the one good thing is that that show didn't exist back then. So
Yeah.
that joke is fresh. Oh, my goodness. Just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at the drooling from Benny Spindler.
Kevin
Imagine
bets
if Kevin Saul had
450,000.
bigger hands, Benny Spindler would
Benny
win more
says,
chips
"I'm all in."
here.
Raise.
450,000. Snap all in from Spindler. Saul releases.
Benny's going to take the pot.
Better not call Saul. Yeah, there's your boy Dan Highmiller still in there.
It's going to raise to 65,000.
Hey, this guy's still here. That's cool.
Get folded around to Benny.
Benny with some shiny new chips, burning a hole in his pocket. 6-7 of diamonds. Late position.
How much is it?
Oh, he folds.
65,000.
And it looks like Saul still has a massive stack. It doesn't look like that really.
Yeah, I mean,
affected him all that much.
he and Benny are 1 and 2 in chips, right? So that was one of those classic big confrontations between the two biggest stacks. But I think Saul still has the advantage.
65,000 apiece. Andy and Kevin are going to go heads up into this flop.
Andy Fitzpatrick at risk, dominating.
So, Marine hoodie versus brown hoodie.
My goodness. See you at the river, James.
Yeah. Fitzpatrick bets 100,000 with top pair, top kicker. Saul with the flush draw, the gut shot.
I'm all in.
Shoves.
Raise, all in.
Oh, Kevin.
And it's all in to call for Andy Fitzpatrick.
Ace Jack.
I don't see how you fold here with
Call.
top pair, top kicker, and the backdoor flush draw. Fitzpatrick calls, and he is good for now.
Yeah, Saul behind, but 40%. It's not that far off a flip here.
The flop was the ace of spades, the jack of hearts, the 5 of hearts.
So you didn't have the redraw?
Andy's in the lead. Kevin has a gut shot, straight draw, and a flush draw. Let's see the turn card, please.
So many outs for Saul.
10 of spades.
Pairs is 10 on the turn.
Kevin's picked up a 10, but Andy is still in the lead. He's going to need to
Unless
dodge
it's
a
followed by
heart
the 10 of diamonds, it's like a
a
really dumb
queen,
card.
or a 10, and he's going to double through.
2 of spades.
He preferred the 2 of spades
2
right
of
now.
hearts.
Let's see the river.
Don't call for cards when you're ahead.
It's the 3 of spades.
You got lucky this time, but don't do it again. And that's a double up for Fitzpatrick. So, you're right, Joe. The hand against Spindler wasn't too much of a blow, but combined with doubling up Fitzpatrick, that has put Kevin Saul in a less than ideal situation. I would imagine Spindler is now chip leader.
Yeah, right, because it's the white and red chips that are the biggest.
Yeah.
And Kevin Saul no longer appears to have either of those colors. You know what colors he does have, James? Red, white, and blue, and those colors don't run.
Yeah. So raised to 65,000 with King, Queen offsuit. This is Peter Thielen. He calls with ace-8 of spades. Round to Andy Fitzpatrick, who folds the button.
Over to the blinds.
You kidding me with this crap? Come on, dealer.
Alex Gomez is in the big blind and has 8-7 off.
How can you not?
41,000 chip raise.
Saul stack very get-inable. I'm not really sure I would want to 3-bet bluff here out of the big blind.
I've got a bad lookalike, by the way, for Peter Thielen.
Ooh. Great.
But I don't think it qualifies.
Oh, sorry.
Why? Because it's a poker player?
No, it's not a poker player, but I'm not sure you could classify my lookalike as someone who is a mainstream celebrity.
Oh.
Alex, Kevin, and Peter are going to go 3 ways into this flop.
All right, well, next time we're on him, I got to hear
See it,
this.
please. Flop is
King
three of spades,
3-3
king of
on the
diamonds,
flop.
three of hearts.
Action checked to
Alex and
Thielen.
Kevin both check.
He looks like that Russian guy from the meme. You know the guy who does the little dance at the end?
The guy who says God is dead?
King, queen, 3-3, 2 diamonds on board.
You know the one with the guy with the woman's interviewing him, and then she says something. He does the little dance.
Yeah, at first he seems really sad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the translations is she says, you know, he's like, I feel really bad, like God's been judging me. And she says, well, you know, God is dead. And then he goes, oh, and he starts dancing.
I've seen many iterations of that meme. I've not seen that one.
I think that's the first one I've seen. Anyway, wasn't Saul the pre-flop raiser, the original raiser?
Yes, he was.
And does not continuation
Maybe
bet.
280.
280.
And now
Kevin says raise,
raises
make it
when he turns to
280,000.
pair. I wonder
150,000 chip raise.
what he thinks can
280,000
call.
on Peter. It's 150,000 chips more to Alex.
Alex Gomez drawing it dead.
Alex is going to pass. Kevin's going to take the pot.
So Kevin Saul gets a little bit back. And we're heading to the outer tables where there is an all-in. Albert Mignolet at risk, but ahead. Kings against sevens.
Did you say all in or Mignolet?
Mignolet, all in. Just has to fade a 7 on the river. It is always coming 7! Kings cracked, and Albert Mignolet out in 19th place, cashing for $60,000. Down to the final 18. Benny Chen, not Benny Spindler, actually has the chip lead right now, but it's close. In fact, we can see that Kevin Saul has actually dropped out of the chip leaders right now.
Wow.
Not even on the leaderboard. Anthony Gregg is third in chips right now, and after that double up, Fitzpatrick sits in fourth.
Do we think Benny Chen is a cross between Benny Spindler and Andrew Chen?
Yes, he was created in a lab. Spindler has opened here with ace-4 of hearts to 60,000. Adam Geyer with king-jack of spades.
Adam's going to make the call, 60,000. Peter's got the button.
See Christy Arnett on the rail. Cool.
Call as well. Andy's on the small.
Has that gentleman put some proper attire on yet, or is he still standing there in his vest and pants?
Don't worry about it, James. It's PCA town.
36,000 chip raise over to the big blind.
Yes, we're going to see Giuseppe Galuzzo play a hand.
There he is. All right, I'm in.
Gonna make the call also.
They're giving me this garbage all day.
But was
What do they
getting
want from me?
a pretty good price. And so we are going 5-way to the flop.
Let's see what it comes. We've got the king of diamonds, the ace of clubs, the
All
jack
right.
of diamonds.
A lot of
Andy's
things are
first.
happening right now.
Check.
So we got a top pair.
Yep,
We got a top pair and a flush draw.
yep,
We got bottom 2 pair.
yep.
This feels dicey.
And I think Galuzzo's going to win it with the 7-4.
You know what? I like a man who goes out on his own. Yeah, I see Basebaldi on the rail. I see Christy Arnett, Eric Fast, all,
Adam's gonna bet.
you know, during this era, those were my colleagues. I mean, they still are, but, you know, we were all doing the same jobs then. Except for Basebaldi, he was a player, but Eric Fast is working for Card Player, I think, just like me.
Goal. Peter announces call from the button.
Thielen
Andy passes from the small
is
block
going to
over
call, and the blinds both fold.
He'll pass as well.
Benny gets out of the way with the small ace. And we go heads up to the turn, which is the jack of clubs, giving Gaia a full house.
So Thielen's not drawing dead. His flush draw is dead.
Yes, but he could make a better full house.
Hey, you know how I know you're gayer? You know how I know you're gayer? Because it says that's your name in the graphics.
Are you referencing that because you know it's my least favorite scene from that film?
Yes, I don't care for it either.
Adam bets out 180,000.
Hey, let's improv for 30 minutes and then put the best bits in the film. No, let's not. Let's try writing a script.
Thielen, wow, 2 good folds in this hand.
So Gaia wins that one, and we're going to take a brief break from the Poker Joe. We're going to find out the best things that players have brought with their poker money.
Amazing.
Till last year, I would have said probably my car, a very nice Audi Q7.
I bought a house in Orange County in California.
Lexus RX. I don't even remember. I'm not a car guy.
Probably a house. I'm not really an extravagant guy. I've got a Porsche.
Whoa. We need to replay that. Let's just listen to what Chris Moneymaker says one more time.
I bought a house in Orange County in California.
Lexus RX. I don't even remember. I'm not a car guy.
Probably a house. I'm not really an extravagant guy. I've got a Porsche.
I'm not really an extravagant guy. I've got a Porsche.
There's a reason why.
Oh, this is a gift. This is a gift. We are going to dig out this clip. We are going to isolate this clip, and we are going to lord it over Chris Moneymaker now. He's on tape saying that.
There is a reason why the word Porsche and the word douche have so many similar letters and sounds.
Okay.
Right there.
One more time, and then we'll play on.
Audi Q7.
I bought a house in Orange County in California.
Lexus RX. I don't even remember. I'm not a car guy.
Probably a house. I'm not really an extravagant guy. I've got a Porsche.
Well, I don't really buy a whole lot of things.
Multi-million-dollar house. Antique furniture.
Vodka.
I'm gonna buy a casino in Italy.
I just recently bought myself a Lamborghini.
It's a new laptop.
What the heck? The kids will get a kick out of it.
You know, it's hard to be the douchiest sounding person in that clip. But somehow Moneymaker pulled it off.
Well done, Chris. Awesome work, sir.
All right, Benny's under the gun. He's going to pass.
Oh, yeah. There is a new Moneymaker meme incoming. You are right.
I almost feel bad for Chris because he doesn't deserve it, because he did turn into the not flashy guy.
Just the blinds now, Joe and Alex.
Like present day Chris Moneymaker would not say that, and I doubt present day Moneymaker drives a Porsche. Probably more like a Honda Odyssey. By the way, did Noah Boken say vodka?
Yeah.
That's not flashy.
Alex has the option now on the
Depends. There are some very expensive vodkas out there.
It is true.
And it depends how much of it you're buying / consuming, and how many
And
people
how
you're buying it for.
consuming it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you buy like $1,000 bottle of vodka and just mix it with Red Bull, okay.
Hey, Galazzo's back in action.
What are they doing to me? 9 high this, 8 high that.
60, 1 hour.
The utter disrespect here for Giuseppe Galuzzo. This would never fly in the streets of Toronto.
69,000 total.
Well, here we go. 9-5 suited versus 9-7 suited. It is Domination Nation.
Just because I work in waste management doesn't mean I need to be dealt these trash hands.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Top pair versus a flush draw.
Joe says he's all in.
Galuzzo all in.
Alex asks for a count.
211.
I call.
Alex
And
calls.
Gomez calls. It's not very much, actually. I didn't realize how short this guy was.
Clubs for club draw.
Hey, take it
Joe has
easy. He's
9-7
Italian.
suited in hearts for top pair. Alex has him covered. He's got 9-5 suited in clubs. The flop was 7 of clubs, deuce of clubs, 3 of hearts. Let's see the turn card, please. Turn is a 10 of clubs.
That's the flush for Alexander Gomez. And that will see Giuseppe Galuzzo eliminated in 18th place. He cashes for $65,000.
It's a nice poker tournament you got there. Be ashamed if something happened to it.
Poor guy. Blinds 15,000, 30,000 with a 3K ante.
Both times the gentleman was drinking heavily. Enjoying himself.
I got it.
He was drinking heavily.
Pocket fours for Gomez.
Alex is going to bring us in for a raise to 75,000.
I made a flush. I'm playing great.
Adam's got the button.
Guy with 8-6 of spades.
He's going to use it to make a call.
What a guy.
75,000. Peter's going to pass the small.
Calls in position.
Raise to Andy in the big blind.
Nah, dog.
He's not going to play this one, so Alex and Adam are going to go heads up to the flop. Five of hearts, queen of spades,
Okay.
five of diamonds, Alex
7, 8.
It is an open-ended straight draw, a backdoor flush draw. Gomez ahead for now with the fours. Continues for 110,000. Practically a flip. Gaia has a lot of equity here.
So I guess I would expect Geyer to have a little bit more equity, but the fours are blocking some of the straight outs.
Adam's going to make the call of 110,000. All right, 110,000 apiece. Let's look at the turn. 3 of diamonds. Alex is first. Check. Alex will check.
Okay, so
Both players are going to check, so we're going to get a free river card. Let's see what it is.
because Gomez is a straight draw 2 now, right?
9 of spades. Alex checks.
Boom. Guy gets there.
Geyer does get there. Geyer was on the button. All of a sudden is going to fire at this for what looks like a pretty big bet.
262,000.
All right, so let me try to remove the hole cards from this situation.
I call.
Alex says call.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think that Gomez can sometimes talk himself into a call here.
Well, Gomez did call and loses a chunk there to Adam Geyer.
Andy's under the gun.
So 17 players remaining right now. There will be the redraw to the final 2 tables, the final 16. One more player to lose before we get to that point.
Alex is going to raise to 80,000.
Time to ramp up the aggression, I guess. Let's see what Benny Spindler, how he responds in position.
Benny's going to make the call of 80,000.
Calls on the bottom with the Jack-10 suited. Geyer with ace-jack of hearts.
This is a situation I think we could see a 3-bet sometimes when it goes raise, call. You don't necessarily want to just call here with ace-jack suited. You get the big blind a great price. You're out of position. when you do put in a 3-bet here, you might be able to just pick up the pot. In exactly the sort of situation that we have here, where it was a loose open, a speculative call. I think this might actually be the guy from that video. Honestly, when I first saw that video, I thought it was a Poker Stars Players Party.
Alex is going to pass. Alex has folded. We're over to Benny now. Benny's going to make the call.
Oh, Benny getting a little wild here.
They don't come much wilder than Benny Spindler. Well, he's been massively outflopped here. He was behind before. He is now way behind, just 9% equity. Running clubs, running straight cards, his best hope, and he continues the aggression. 300,000. Gaia with top pair solid kicker.
Adam makes the call of 300,000.
You gotta just give it up at this point, right? If you're Spindler. Like, this is about as dry a board as it gets.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. It's so much fun at ...
Adam checks. Benny checks.
Spindler checks behind. Free card alert. It is.
You can see Geyer.
Oh, if that had been a club, come on.
I mean, you can see why Geyer would check there, right? Like, in our minds, we're like, no, you got to bet. He's got a flush draw now, but you don't really expect your opponent's going to have clubs in that spot, and you want Benny Spindler to keep betting into you when you have got top pair, very good kicker. You're not super worried about much of anything, given the way that Benny played the hand pre-flop, right? Like ace-8, the only thing you're really worried about. But now Geyer is not going to give Spindler the chance to bluff it.
Adam bets out 550,000.
I mean, there's no more cards to come, pal. Seems like a spot where you just got to give it up.
You can always pull the trigger on a monster bluff on the river.
What are you repping, though? You really repping a deuce? I guess pocket eights. It's just such a narrow range.
Spindler lets it go.
Adam's going to take the pot.
Gaia wins that pot of nearly 2 million. And looks like an elimination at one of the outer tables.
Oh.
That is Jason Pastor out in 17th place, eliminated by Kevin Saul, and that will take us down to the final 16. And Kevin Saul has reclaimed the chip lead, just ahead of Adam Gaia, who's now second in chips following that big hand against Benny Spindler, who sits 7th on the leaderboard. We have still got Andy Fitzpatrick. We've still got Alex Gomez. Kathy Liebert is still in the PCA main event. And we will pick up the action again tomorrow when we continue to play down to the final table and down to a winner here on EPT Retro with our coverage of the 2009 PokerStars Caribbean Adventure main event. And I am looking forward to some future raising wars, to some future battles between Benny Spindler and Kevin Saul. I get the impression, Joe, that we're setting up a narrative here which is going to continue to play out tomorrow.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Benny Spindler quite as aggressive as we know him to be just yet, and I assume that once these stacks consolidate and he starts to build one, he may put his foot right on the old gas pedal.
Yeah, and I'm sure many people remember Benny from later seasons of the EPT. I think it was in London in 2011 where we saw a lot of Benny. We're probably not going to get that far on EPT Retro, though, because bear in mind, you can only go so far before you start to really cannibalize yourself a little bit too much. The current plan is that we're going to see things through to the conclusion of Season 6, which will take us to the spring of 2010, and that's a full year before Joe Stapleton joined the EPT as a regular commentator, and that seems like a good place to pause, I think. And then give it a bit of time, and then I think we can probably revisit Season 7 and Season 8 further down the line.
Yeah, that works for me. Look, it will be these things I definitely have never seen before. Even if we redid a few of the things I did early on, I'm probably not going to have much recall for those.
Exactly. I mean, I was there for these events. I did the streams. I did many of the TV shows, and my recollection of key hands and key moments is few and far between. It's a joy to revisit a lot of this action, and we will continue to do that tomorrow, but that is not the end of our stream for today. Just around the corner, we've got back-to-back Scoop Final Table Cards Up replays coming your way. I just wanted to touch very briefly, Joe, on Saturday night. A few people have said some very kind things in the chat about the stream we brought on Saturday night, raising money for Care International and other charities around the world. We had a lot of fun doing it, got to speak to some awesome people. And also, can we have a shout out? Can we have some claps in the chat for Super Mod Raksha, who managed to make it through the Players Invitational to the final of the celebrity event? And I believe Raksha won $10,000 for charity in that event.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool to see Raksha in there, Raksha in action. And of course, it's got to feel great, right? To be able to cash and say, I got to spend some of PokerStars' money on a good cause. Send it to the charity.
Was there a particular highlight for you? Because you got to straddle both camps, Joe. You got to play in the event, but also you were a huge part of the stream as well. And like me, you got to speak to many of your heroes, I guess, over the course of the evening.
There were a lot of my heroes in that event. There were a lot of great moments for me. Having so much interaction with Michael Ian Black was pretty cool. Being acknowledged by Hank Azaria as someone that he knew and recognized was a big thrill for me. Thomas Lennon being on the stream. And then, of course, there was the prop, right? The big poster. The fact that I was able to...
So ridiculous you had that. So ridiculous.
That I was able to get Hank Azaria to identify his signature on the poster. And then it just so happened that Thomas Lennon, who wrote the movie, also was playing in our event and hopped in on the stream. And we kind of downplayed the fact that Tom was wearing a tuxedo. Like he got dressed up. Like the quarantine aspect didn't even, like when I saw him, I was like, oh, he's in a tuxedo. I wonder where he was. That was literally what I thought, not realizing that of course he wore it just for our stupid event. Not stupid, I should say, but just for our event.
Yeah.
Really just a fun day. One of the best things I've ever been a part of, honestly.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to have fun today. As I said, we've got Scoop Final Table replays just around the corner, and EPT Retro will be back tomorrow for those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, Joe, our first Scoop Final Table of the day is event number 55, the High Buy-In. This is a $530 no-limit hold'em, 8 max turbo progressive KO. And take a breath.
That's a lot of words in that.
And this was a one-day event. Being a turbo, I think we can expect it to be a little bit fast and furious. Down to the final 9 players at this point in time. I can tell you that there were a total of 1,066 entries. That is 864 unique players with 202 re-entries, generating a prize pool of $533,000, smashing the guarantee of $350K, and we are away. And remember, in a progressive knockout event, we have the combined prize pool. We got the payouts as advertised on screen, but remember, half the buy-in goes towards a head prize. Every time you knock out a player, you take their bounty. Half of that goes straight into your bank account, or rather your stars account, but the other half goes onto your head and increases your head prize. And you can see those head prizes displayed on the screen right now.
Cool. Well done, guys.
It took me a lot of effort to do that, and I will be updating them as this goes on, because with every elimination, I'll be entering the new information.
Oh my God, this should be great.
The only player, by the way, Joe, that I recognise at this table is French Dog, who I know to be Marc-Andre Ladouceur.